My name is Jian, the host of today's talk. Before we get started, please turn on your cell phone or put them on silent mode. Thank you. Can you imagine your life without liberty? Liberty is a basic human right and it is something we take for granted in South Korea because liberty exists in every part of our lives. But it is hard to imagine liberty in North Korea because of their government. Today, the speaker Amy will introduce the Human Rights Organization Week, which stands for Liberty in North Korea. If you have any questions, please write them on the small sheet of paper you were given when you arrived. One of our volunteers will collect it from you. Later, Amy will have a chance to answer your questions during Q&A portion, which is led by one of our English-speaking volunteers. Now, without any further hesitation, please welcome Amy with a big round of applause.
Well, children were starving, dying. They were literally dying under my hand because there was no food.
The situation was very serious.
More than 1 million people starved to death.
Totalitarian regime that's going to lead to serious famine. We don't have very much time.
탈북자 이들은 인구 경제학을 믿고 특대인 데려간 분야로 변합니다. 탈북대사관 영사 후에 탈북자로 지정되는 4명이 재임을 시도하다 1명만 성공하고 3명은 체포됐습니다.
China, there are 20,000 to 30,000 North Korean refugees. They are escaping North Korea every day across the heavenly border to mainland China to avoid persecution and starvation. The escapees might face death if returned to their homeland. Most sneak across the narrow Tumen River, which forms roughly a third of North Korea's border with China. Those who have found escape brokers try to enter the South Korean consulate. However, in recent years, the Chinese government has tightened the security and increased the number of police outside the consulate. According to a source from 2005, which it's changed a lot now, but in 2005, 60 to 70% of the defectors in China are women, and 70 to 80% of them are used for human trafficking. Women are moved from the border to cities further away to work as sex slaves. When caught, Chinese authorities arrest and repatriate these North Korean victims. North Korean authorities keep repatriates in labor camps and execute Chinese fathered babies to protect North Korean blood. They force abortions on pregnant repatriates if they don't execute them. China refuses to grant refugee status to North Korean defectors, and they consider them illegal economic migrants. The Chinese authorities arrest and deport hundreds of defectors back into North Korea, sometimes in mass immigration sweeps. Human rights organizations have compiled a list of hundreds of North Korean defectors repatriated by China. For some of them, the fate after repatriation to North Korea is described ranging from torture, detention, or prison camps to execution.
Perception is an invisible force, one that lives in our minds. But the effect of our perceptions are anything but invisible, since they determine what we think, say, and how we act. In this way, this invisible force of perception has influenced the course of history. In the 18th century, we believed that Africans were less than human, and we made them slaves and denied their human rights. Our perceptions were wrong. They were based on lies, and innocent people paid the price. In the 20th century, we failed to respond to the plight of millions of people because international politics and the media defined North Korea by high politics rather than the North Korean people. Our perception was determined by the political rhetoric of the Cold War and has been that way ever since.
North Korea is a regime arming with missiles and weapons of mass destruction. States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world.
If you live in North Korea, the big news you would have learned today is you have a new First Lady. Put it another way, Kim Jong-un is off the market.
This perception has allowed the atrocities of the regime to go unnoticed. While we are talking about nuclear weapons and treating the Kim leadership as tabloid news, the North Korean people are starving, isolated, and denied fundamental human rights in a zero-tolerance system enforced by a network of political prison camps, reminiscent of Nazi concentration camps. The regime aims to isolate its people by trying to control all information going into and out of the country, and punishes anyone who attempts to learn about the outside world. This is not history. These are the incredible challenges that the North Korean people face today. But the world has neglected this, instead allowing politics to define North Korea. In order to survive, the North Korean people have created illegal markets to provide themselves and others with food and goods that the government can no longer supply. These markets have undermined the power of the regime and are also serving as hubs for the spread of new information and technologies like DVDs and cell phones, which are modernizing and opening up North Korean society from below. Together, these These people-driven events are spreading new ideas and creating new pressures for change, challenging the regime's ability to keep the people isolated. Shift is happening in North Korea. This is what we should be talking about. This is what the media should be reporting on, and this is what politicians should be focused on. Why? Because more attention on the nuclear weapons stalemate or the North Korean regime is not going to lead to solutions. Shifting the way the public thinks about North Korea allows for far more progress to be made. The North Korean people can be supported. We can help empower their efforts to push for change and increasing freedoms. And their stories can be told wide and far until North Korea is defined by its people. If we, in the outside world, shift our focus from the high politics to the people and come alongside them in their struggle, then liberty in North Korea will not be impossible. It will be inevitable.
So in 2013, I joined an organization called Liberty in North Korea. LINK is a non-political, non-governmental organization who rescues North Korean refugees hiding in China and other Southeast Asian countries. They rescue them through a 3,500-mile underground railroad, which is called the Free Passage Model. Up to date, LINK has rescued 300 refugees. LINK has provided a way for North Koreans to leave China without cost or condition. They have stabilized safe escape routes through China and Southeast Asia and have built relationships with individuals who work in the modern underground railroad who can help LINK move the refugees across borders. The free passage model ensures that refugees are treated with dignity and respect throughout the risky journey and allows refugees to begin their new lives in freedom without debt. The wonderful aspect about LINK is that even after rescuing refugees and bringing them safely into the free world, LINK provides them with financial and emotional support. After a rescue, refugees go to a safe house where LINK provides them with the basic necessities like clothes, food, and medical care. They have a chance to settle in a safe house and start familiarizing themselves with this new world. The transition is not easy. It's a lot to take in and they need support. LINK helps them to find a job or to enroll in a scholarship. They also help them with translation, learning to speak English, and counseling. LINK focuses on the people and not the politics. Now, in North Korea, they have emerged as unique agents of change inside and outside their country. The people are breaking away from the control of the regime and they are transforming their society from the inside out. The people have driven the growth of markets across the country and created new ways to connect to the outside world. Since the collapse of the state economy in the 1990s, unofficial markets have not only enabled the North Korean people to make a living, but also provided the people with goods that were outside the government's control, including new technologies such as DVD, USBs, laptops, and cell phones. These new ideas provided the people with new perspectives and possibilities. The people are not isolated as they once were, and they are gaining physical and psychological independence from the regime. Tens of thousands of North Koreans have risked their lives to escape to a better life outside. And many of these people have emerged as agents of progress by sending money and information back to their home communities through illicit channels. This helps to accelerate social change, fuel grassroots marketization, and weaken the regime's control.
This is a story about a young woman who is a game changer. She is smart, strong, and full of potential. But the environment she was born in kept her down. The system ruling over her micromanages her life, forcing her to live in poverty. And that's only the beginning. The system even attempts to control what she knows and what she thinks. She's isolated from the outside world, and going online is not only illegal, but impossible. And it gets worse. The system was designed to keep her disempowered and to prevent her from fulfilling her human potential, no matter how hard she works. This system is real. It's not only trying to control her, but over 24 million others like her. This is the reality of life for the North Korean people today. But there's good news. The North Korean government underestimated the potential of its people, including hers. Remember, she's smart. She broke away from the regime's control by joining new unofficial markets. These markets not only enabled her to make a living, but provided her with goods that were banned by the government, including new technologies and foreign media. These new ideas provided her with new perspectives and possibilities. For the first time ever, she was able to imagine a life without the system. So she decided to escape it. She knew her only option was to cross into China, but even there she was in danger of being captured and sent back. And like other North Korean women in China, she was also in danger of exploitation through sex trafficking or being sold into a marriage she didn't want. But she was able to avoid capture and exploitation by being given a chance to escape China. Her journey to safety and freedom would not be easy. She had to travel over 3,000 miles across rough terrain and multiple borders. Once she completed this journey, she was free. Taking advantage of her new freedom, she enrolled in classes and educated herself so she could succeed. This is where it gets even better. She never forgot about her family and friends in North Korea. She quickly found a way to reestablish contact with them, and she started sending money back. Lots of it. Her family was smart too, so they invested the money into their own market activities. They bought a bike, giving them quicker access to markets so they could sell more goods. Within a few months, they were able to move closer to the market and expand their business to make a better living. Do you see what's happening here? She's built a bridge to North Korea, and she's not the only one. There are over 10,000 refugees like her, sending money and information back to their home communities in North Korea, and it amounts to $10 to $15 million. This bridge is massively significant because it's fueling the grassroots marketization of the country and allowing the people to become stronger and more independent from the regime. It's accelerating irreversible bottom-up changes that are transforming North Korean society today, and it's all being fueled by game changers just like her. There are thousands more North Korean refugees hiding in China, hoping for the chance that she received. This is where you can help. You can provide that chance. By raising the funds to rescue a refugee, you can help more North Koreans fulfill their potential and become agents of change. Help build the bridge to North Korea. Rescue a game changer.
So Link is funded by two initiatives. Nomads are passionate young adults who travel all over North America to high schools and colleges and communities, building and activating support for the refugees. And then there are, rescue teams. Rescue teams are local leaders of the Link movement in hundreds of communities around the world. 100% of the funds raised by rescue teams are used on rescue missions. So I started the Gwangju Link, the rescue team, in 2012. And so far we've raised $2,900. I'm sure we'll have another 100 come and then we'll reach our goal, but then we'll just start again. Right. It only takes $3,000 to rescue a refugee. Take a moment if you are curious about how the money is used. Basic needs for transportation, accommodation, rescue fees, contingency, and so they're very open about how they use the money. Now, why am I here today? Because I would love for you to get involved with Link too. And for a start, you can visit, if you want more information, you can visit the Link webpage, or you can join us on Facebook, and that's it. That's how you can talk to me today, okay? We don't have any fundraisers now, but people are still donating a lot of money. And yes, so in ending, my passion for North Korea started after reading this book. It's called Camp 14 by Blaine Harden, and it is a biography about Shin Dong-yoon. Shin was the first North Korean defector to have successfully escaped the total control zone grade internment camp in North Korea. He was actually in one of the prison camps, and he escaped North Korea. He was the first refugee ever to get out of a camp and to arrive safely in the Western world. Reading his biography changed my life. I learned about North Korea by reading this book. It exposed so much truth about what is happening in North Korea, and it triggered the passion inside of me to help North Korean refugees. This is Shin's story.
저는 신동혁입니다. Electrocuted. I knew I had to get out, and nothing else mattered at that moment. I was able to get through the fencing. However, my friend Bob was caught in the fence and was electrocuted. Outside the camp for the first time, I saw North Korea, but only for 20 days. The feeling of ecstasy to be out of the camp was beyond description. So many things I had never seen, smelled, or imagined. I ran down a mountain until I found a locked house. I broke in and took some rice that I later sold at the first mining village I found. I used the money to bribe the border guards to let me through the North Korea border with China. Relief swept over me when I finally reached South Korea. I no longer had to run, no longer had to hide, no longer had to starve. In South Korea, I learned that organizations like Link exist. I was humbled and overwhelmed. The people a world away were working to tell stories like mine to start a movement in behalf of my country. Whenever I hear the word North Korea, anger wells up inside of me toward a government that doesn't respect human life. But rather than stay angry, I decided to help my countrymen find freedom through telling their stories. Working with Link gives me that opportunity. The idea that people who have yet to meet a single refugee in Link's shelters are visiting different cities and colleges and communities to talk about North Korea is an incredible inspiration to me. The hope of the North Korean people lies with us, and it is up to us to offer it. Please tell their stories. Help us fuel this movement.
Right, that was my talk. I didn't actually write the ending to it, that is my ending, but I want to encourage you to find out more about this. And I hope that all of you will feel like I feel, and that you guys will want to get involved with this, with Gwangju Link. So, Q&A! Let's go!
Answer portion of the GIC talk. For those of you who came in late, we take this opportunity to remind you to turn off your cell phones. Thank you very much. If you did not get a piece of paper and you had questions, one of the volunteers will give you a slip of paper, and then I will take the questions and ask her. So my first question is, what's your background? Where are you from?
Oh, yeah, my name is, well, I'm from South Africa, and I've lived in Korea for 5 years.
Why did you decide to come to Korea originally?
Oh, I was boring with my job. To get out. So my friend was a teacher here and said, come to Korea. And I came.
So you talked a little bit about how you read the Escape from Camp 14.
Yes.
What really touched you about that book? Do you recommend everyone read that?
Absolutely. Actually, there's a bunch of books out now about North Korea, because there are a lot of more refugees out now. A lot of TED Talks about refugees that have escaped. I think that was something personal for me reading that book. But of course, I would love everyone to read it. And it is translated in Korean, apparently. No, yeah, please guys, you should read it.
How did you first hear about Link?
It's in the cover of the book.
Oh, okay.
So they have a little on the first page, and that's where I saw Link. But I went onto the website because I was looking for something that I can get involved in. And there are a lot of church-affiliated organizations in South Korea, which I don't always agree with. And then there are a lot of political things also involved. So I was so happy when I found Link. And I saw that they are sincere, they're legit, and it's about the people, it's not about the politics, and that's how I got involved with Link.
Can you talk a little bit about the organization of Link? Does it have a particular headquarters, or?
Yes, their head office is in California. Actually, the CEO, her grandmother is a North Korean. So she's Korean, the CEO of the company, and they've got a huge team now. When I joined in 2012, I think there were 5 people working there. I think there's over 100 now. So they've grown significantly in 2 years. And like I said, they have a lot of volunteers, a lot of nomads. They've got a little van, a few vans that go around North America. And, oh, I wrote this down. I think there's over 390 countries involved now with Link raising money.
Do you happen to know how many are in Korea? Is there other ones besides Gwangju?
Yes, there are 3 rescue teams. One is in Busan, one is in Seoul, and then the one in Daegu. 4, there's 4 now in Korea.
Do you tend to work together?
Oh, we haven't yet, but I've been in contact with them. I think they're a little bit more active than we are. Currently, we don't have any fundraising going on. I'm guilty. I should be doing more. But the funds are just coming in. People are donating. So there wasn't a big need as of yet to have a fundraiser. But they're very active, and we have spoken, and they're lovely people.
There's a question from the audience. Have you met a defector from North Korea?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Of course, I would love to. But on the other hand, I don't want to meet that and say, "Hi, North Korean refugee, nice to meet you." You know, so I would love to meet one just in passing by and hear their stories. I haven't. No. One day. They're just normal people, right? They're not really, yeah.